who is also my mother. Are you ready? Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of You've Got to Meet Juliet Choo. I am in Singapore today, and I am at my family home in Laguna Park in Singapore. And today I have the honor of introducing to you one of Singapore's uh, beloved food columnists. And she's such a creative human being, and I just wanted to introduce you to her and to her special gifts as in expressions of interior design, fashion, writing, as well as of course, the culinary arts. So I want you to meet Juliet Choo. Would you tell us a little bit about your art forms, and what would you like the community at QBW to know about you?
Well, firstly, I'm a wife, mother, and grandmother, and well, I work behind the scenes really. I'm rather shy. My children don't know that. They don't think so because mom's mom.
I think one of the most beautiful things that you were talking about is that even as an artist, as a creative, you like to go behind the scenes
Right.
to support other people.
Mhm.
And people don't oftentimes realize that artists who support the artists that are in front of the stage often. So even on stage, we have people who are makeup artists, lighting design artists, videographers, and this is one of the ways my mom prefers to support, is to oftentimes take a supporting role. But at the same time, if you ever see her work, for example, in New Nation, I was archiving your photo shoots as well as your recipes and your writing. I'm like, this woman's work just stands alone in itself as well, which is something I'm
Thank
really
you.
proud about. And so, I'm trying to think about how which art form I like to talk to you about. Also, with everything that Juliet Choo does, I think one thread that I've noticed is that love and people, bringing love to people, is a theme that is in all your art forms. Is that correct?
Right.
Right. Because without people, it's
I
not.
can't. I don't cook. I enjoy cooking for people and enjoying seeing them enjoy the food.
Yes. So let's talk about your cooking journey. How did you start cooking? I mean, what were your roots? Did you cook when you were a child?
Yes. When I was 10, I even though I had two house helps, I still had to uh, cook and learn to cook because at 10, and so that coming from a Peranakan family, I had to do that as a girl, and my mother likes to encourage that. So that's how I started cooking really.
Hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Peranakan culture is?
Well, um, you know, traditionally we we marry the Malays and the
Marry the
Chinese.
Chinese, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. And do you have a specific kind of food, a specific kind of outfits and dress?
Well, we have the sarong kebaya. We have the the long, the old-fashioned one that's the bibis used to wear. It's the long ones over their sarongs.
Mhm.
And well, I just wish I had pictures to show that would best describe
Yeah,
what
don't
I'm
worry
trying to
about
say.
that because I think I've got pictures of you
Uh-huh.
wearing some sarong kabaya outfits. So I'll also post that together with the interview. So
Okay.
I will give you examples of mom wearing her beautiful lace kabaya and her batik sarongs. So yes,
Thank you.
I'm very excited about that because I think they are absolutely gorgeous. And I'm very proud to be a Nonya, which is a woman of Peranakan origin, and a man of Peranakan origin. What do we call them?
Baba.
Baba. Yeah, Baba. So,
Baba and Bibi.
yeah, okay, very good. And tell us about why was it important for your mother, who's also a Nonya, that you should know how to cook?
Well, being the eldest and the oldest girl, she that's typically what it has to be in a in the home, in a Peranakan home, that the girls have to learn to cook, and if they marry, that's the best asset I think they would have.
That they can feed their
Yeah,
families.
right.
That's wonderful.
Correct.
And what is a typical dish? Could you describe a typical Peranakan dish?
Well, the buah keluak and the japchae, the pure soup, well, and quite a few dishes that actually I love to cook, but I find the Peranakan dishes kind of they're all the same colors, so I like to plate my dishes, and I like to present them in a way that is palatable, So
When I was growing up, you always reminded me that people start eating with
the
their
eye
eyes,
candy,
right?
eye
Yes,
candy,
yes,
yes.
we're creating eye candy,
Mhm.
right? And so that is something that I also remembered as you worked as a food columnist. Your food, you always had such colorful plating because and made everybody really hungry, right? Sometimes.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, one of the treats I heard from the photographers, hey, hurry up, we can, if the faster we finish photographing, the quicker we can eat. That's what I heard them
That's
say.
Yeah.
That was,
You got a good memory.
yes, I thought that was wonderful to see
Yeah.
that happening.
And I enjoy working with the photographer. Actually, Shannon has been an asset with that for that time, because he used to get flowers and things for props, for
Yeah.
for my table.
Oh, by the way, my cameraman today and videographer is Lu Shentan, my brother and
And
co-collaborator.
my son. I'm
Yes,
so proud
in
of my son.
Q's Blue World. Yes,
Yes.
that's right. Yeah, so a shout out to him. Yes, we're waving to him. Yes, do you want to flip it around so that you see? No, he doesn't. He's going to be shy. See, he's also shy. All
Must
right.
be from me.
Yeah, well, I would like to talk to you about how did you become a food columnist? And what paper was it? Was it
It's a New Nation.
New Nation? And
Yes.
was it a subsidiary of the Straits Times?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so tell me, how did you start being a food columnist?
Well, I had friends who were journalists, and they encouraged me to start writing, and instead of the usual eating out columns, the one that I was writing was cook in.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was to encourage readers to cook, even though they keep saying they don't cook, or they can't cook. But I believe that everyone can cook if they're interested.
Okay, so what kind of articles did you write about, how does someone start cooking at home?
I would refer to, again, talk about my son Shen, and he loves to eat, and he enjoys eating, and he will watch me cook, and he will learn from it, and he will practice, and perseverance, and he put it into practice, that the results, the outcome was the authentic thing, the results. So I am proud of the fact that it started with him, actually, and then you started cooking when you had to.
because I too enjoy eating. Yes. Yep. The
To be
mermaid
very
was like.
honest, my mom said, as much as you like to eat, you better learn how to cook.
Yes, I did
Wise
say.
words.
Yes, and as a result, my brother, if you
Is-
don't know, is a very accomplished chef. So
Yes.
bravo to him. Yes.
Shout out.
Yes. And many people think that cooking in many cultures belong to women. Is that true
Not
in the
true.
Peranakan
No,
culture?
Well, no. In fact, the best chef, I believe, the males.
Yeah, a lot of
I
them.
know a lot of them are males.
Okay,
So
that's yeah.
it's not. I disagree if you say it's the female. No.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, one of my favorite articles that you wrote was a Christmas cookie.
Yes.
So
Which you had a part to
yeah.
a
So
hand in it.
so that was your commitment to the family as well, right?
Right.
So oftentimes you wanted to encourage people who want to eat in to cook as a family, right?
Family, yes.
So what was your philosophy about bringing in your children? Weren't we a bother to you?
No, we had fun. In fact, we all had fun. I believe you did too. Maybe the fun part was the eating, the results, testing it and tasting it.
Right, and not only that, I watched her crew, her photographers, and the support staff were oftentimes buzzing around the food, and they would. I could hear Mom's voice, stand by, and then they'll all get everything ready to take, and then Mom would just rush the food, put it in, and everybody would throw their flowers in the
Yes.
baskets and everything, and then click, 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 and then
Time.
and then we will all sit down and eat, right?
Right.
That was so
Was fun,
exciting,
yes.
yes. And so that was where it almost felt like a family, even
Yes.
though we were not all blood,
Right.
but we were a family of creatives, support staff, you
Right.
as the
Right.
the columnists, and we as the kids who
Yes.
were the extra help, got to enjoy eating a meal together.
Yes.
Now, I've heard that some people use paraffin wax and oils to dress your food, and that made it inedible. Did you ever use things like that to dress your food?
I think it's more dressing it with paraffin and putting water on vegetables. It's more for photography, really, not for cooking or for making it edible. I disagree. Not paraffin wax.
Yeah. So you always had a commitment of making sure that whatever
Yes.
you put on your food, even for
Correct.
the photo shoot,
Right.
that it was always edible.
Yeah.
It preserved the
No, and then yes, edible. Or after that, we discard.
really.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no human beings were sacrificed for these photo shoots. Okay.
But to your point, I actually think Mom has an amazing ability to window dress edible food. That was a remark I remember people saying of your work, that as good as the photos are, your guest parties are just as good as the actual photo panels, which means they are authentic, edible,
Yes.
not just
Yes.
for the photograph.
Yes.
You don't do advertising campaigns
No.
where you have a raw chicken with glossy makeup and you cannot eat it. No, your food is completely edible.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
So that's what you're
Yes,
saying. Yeah?
yes. I was trying to say that I've watched photo shoots and where the food was rendered inedible after the photo
No,
shoot, but I always saw everyone eating. So,
yeah, one has to be careful. Not, if we didn't use paraffin wax, not at all.
right.
Just maybe water or just to brighten up the, like vegetables and all that fresh to make the vegetables look kind of perky and
Right.
such.
So
And
that's where I got my inspiration of taking ingredients of a dish
Yes.
and then make it ornamental.
Right.
So, for example, in mee siam, you might cut your hard-boiled eggs into
Yes.
fantastic shapes.
Yes.
yeah,
You might take beetroot strands and twirl
Yes.
them. You might take like tamarind pods and shell out
Yeah.
seeds. It's brilliant.
yeah,
And what's interesting is it's very different what you actually see on the table against through the lens. It's very different. So you really need to picture what you would like the result to be, you know. So I had to work on that one too.
And then also, I remember that you were authentic to the portion size. One of the trends of the day is to put everything to a small container, and it looks very kawaii. That's very cute.
Yeah.
But you would actually show an actual serving that you consume in proportions and still make it look nice.
Yes. Yeah. One has to, because again, you know, where would the food go? People would have to finish it, right? So you have to make it palatable and presentable, and yeah.
Another one of my favorite articles was using leftovers.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
It's creativity for me. Leftovers. When you guys grew up and you were always eating leftovers and you didn't complain because every time it comes out it's a different dish.
Yes.
And I had fun doing that, and it's really a very creative. I find myself being creative that way, and I enjoy doing that, using leftovers. And I had an article on that too. Yeah.
Yes, and one of the that article impressed me a lot because as we look at our world and conservation, recycling, reusing, being sustainable in our food and eating, we need to champion not just using leftovers in our eating, but also other other ways that we live, and what materials are we given.
Recycle.
Yes.
Recycling.
Reusing.
Recycling, reusing.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly infectious because after exploring my journey of cooking, I still find it so much fun to go to people's houses and dig out the fridge and make something delightful out of the fridge.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You see, so what you had this afternoon for lunch were ugly vegetables. And
really?
Yes. And what do you do with that? Do you throw it away? But they're edible, and yeah. So if you really like the taste, then they're ugly.
Well, actually, Mom and Dad, I have a source where they receive ugly vegetables.
Yeah, during this time.
Yes, and the exterior leaves of the bok choy were kind of sad looking.
Yes.
But what was served was these little beautiful rosebuds.
Yes,
because
which I consciously put as rosebuds.
Yes, and you peeled all the wilted leaves off, but you sliced it so that it looked like a rosebud, and it was delicious. It was like a pop in your mouth. And the texture was just exquisite. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good.
That texture just burst. It was like having a pearl in your mouth.
So those were ugly vegetables, really.
Yes. So wherever you are, take a little bit of time to look at where you might source out ugly vegetables. I know that Mom and Dad actually encouraged me to look at Produce on Wheels, powwow in Arizona,
in the US.
In the U.S., and I could find like for $11 US dollars, almost 20 or 30 pounds of food.
And you have lots of fiber.
Exactly, lots of fiber, correct. And I'm like giving out, at school, teachers, would you like some tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers? Yeah. So I shared it out.
Yes.
So,
pickles.
Yeah. So, there are different ways that we can actually practically help our environment, right?
Yes,
But before it became a movement, you were already modeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you always grow up in an environment where you had a lot of food and
not a lot of food, but not a lot of wastage. We don't waste our food. We don't. So everything has to be used. Everything has to be eaten up, and if you have leftovers, you still have to eat it the next day. Nobody, unless you have someone like me who would change it into another dish.
Right.
Yes.
So that's a very healthy respect for food.
Yes.
That not everyone has access to food.
Yes.
And so that is something that's meant to be honored. So thank you, and I think you've definitely instilled that in me growing up, and to honor food.
Yes.
Yes. So now I have another memory that I'm very proud that I would like you to share about. So you wrote for New Nation for a while, and then you retired from your writing career. What happened one day when you were going for surgery?
Oh, I had forgotten that I used to be a columnist, and just waiting in line to see a doctor. And I had this male nurse, Malay male nurse, who was pushing me, and he just took a look at my chart or my records, and he asked me, "Are you the Juliet Choo who used to write in New Nation?" I said, "Yes." And he was like so thrilled, and he said, "Oh, I miss your writing." And then he started talking and talking, and it made my waiting in line just so comfortable, and just talking to him. And I was just so thrilled that after so many years that someone like him can still remember. He was a male nurse.
Yeah, it's
Male.
surprising, right? It was a
Was he
surprising.
cute?
I don't know, I didn't get it.
Well, if nothing else, he had a cute personality because
Yeah.
he brightened Mummy's day up, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And it made my hospital visit just so comfortable and not fearful, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm always very scared of hospitals.
Right, but I mean, look at the impact. That was
Right.
just one story of
Yes.
somebody who
Yes.
looked forward to
Uh-huh.
your writing,
Mhm.
and so yeah, I applaud you. How exciting! So now you are retired from writing food columns. How do you feel like creativity plays a part of your life right now?
Well, um, I thought I could retire, but with pandemic, with pandemic times, um, even though it's just your dad and myself, um, I we still continue to cook, and we still have leftovers because you guys are gone. We still have leftovers, but we we still have dishes that I enjoy churning out into another dish, and I do continue to enjoy recreating my dishes.
One of the things that I would like to affirm you on, Mom, is that my husband Ed has always observed that you quietly watch every guest in your home and what they choose to eat and what they enjoy, because when you see them again, you oftentimes
Yes,
cook those things that they
like.
love,
Yes.
or even prepare it in the way that they like it. So one of the most moving things that Ed will never forget is how lovingly you slice apple and present fruit, cut fruit to him. And he said that is a labor of love. So that is something my husband Ed will never forget. That
Thank you for encouraging.
yes. So that is through food and the plating of food and the presentation of food is a way that Juliet Choo encourages people to say I love you without having to always put it in words. Yeah.
And still work behind the scenes.
And still work behind the scenes. Exactly. So, Shen, do you want to ask that weird question that you asked our new guests?
No, before I do that, I have a question, Mom.
Yeah.
And an observation first. I learned from you that you see the lowly and you affirm everybody, but you seem to seek out the service people everywhere you go, especially if you're busy, especially if you're stressed out. And that is something that has been important to me, and I've continued that. But where did that start with you? Why did you start seeking out the lowly? In a room full of people, in a hotel, in a restaurant, inevitably you would find those who have the lower level ranks and tasks, but you affirm them and delight them. Why?
If anything, in order to be able to reach out to others who are lonely, who are downtrodden, or one has to be able to understand and to feel that emotion as well, and that is loneliness, rejection, and especially the reaching out to the inner child or the inner being, you know. So I have had the experiences of those emotions, and I have gone through these experiences of being that the child who's been sad, who wishes that the child wishes that she could be different, could be happy, and could. So when I am able to do that, to reach out to those who are in the same boat as I am, or rather those similar emotions that I can relate to, I believe that it's an opportunity for me to have that healing as well, you know, and to date, and I thank God for that, because without Him, I am nothing really, and I've never been happier. I am enjoying being myself. I am enjoying the freedom that He gives me. So thank you for asking that question and helping me express this, because it's not something that I would it's something that's very personal, and I wouldn't. It's difficult to express my innermost that way. So that's how it is, you know. I have to have that understanding of self to be able to reach out to those who need it. And in fact, even though they don't show it, I can sense, and it's something that is a gift. It's that discernment that comes is only from God.
Also, in your life, you have been in the service industry, right?
Yes.
So you have had a background in, for example, in the airlines, and taking care of customers, and you know how hard it is sometimes when people don't appreciate you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes.
And so you've always
taught
the
us misunderstanding,
right?
You know.
Right.
So it's important to be able to love oneself first, to be able to love others in that sense.
Thanks for sharing that. So now is the time you get to turn the tables on the mermaid and ask her a question.
Do you have a question for me?
Not really. The questions have been answered just by your being here, and we've been talking, and I'm really proud of the fact that you are where you are today. And
then I suggest we turn it to what one thing would you like Camlyn to share with our viewers?
Well, one thing would you like?
That you are proud of,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you want her to share with the viewers.
Yes. What do you think is interesting about me that you want me to talk about?
That the viewers might not know about her.
One thing. You don't like prawns.
I don't like prawns.
Oh.
That's why I will never eat shrimpy, you see.
And you love your soft toys.
That is true.
They're cuddlies.
That is true.
You love to cuddle, Cammy.
Yes, I do love to cuddle. It's true.
Yeah, and you are cuddly.
Yes, thank you. I love you, Mommy. Mwah. Now, we have a treat for you. Mom and I have a special song that we have together.
Shen can join in. I like to hear Shen's voice.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Let's sing it together one more time. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I love you, Mom.
Love you.
Mwah. So, everyone, You've got to meet Juliet Choo, the mermaid's mommy. I love you. And everyone, be good to yourselves and eat at home sometimes. And remember, it's never too late to learn how to cook.
Cooking.
Cook in with Juliet Choo. Everybody, this is Kemlyn Tan Bappy and Juliet Choo, Q's Blue World, Singapore. Thank you. A shout out to my brother Lucian Tan, who was definitely contributing to this interview today. Take care, everyone.
And tip your service staff.
Tip your service staff. Yes.